we want to talk about Gambino and the rise, and it's a film based on a book from Pierre. You guys are at Cannes in June. Give me a little bit of background on why you wanted to produce a film like Gambino.
Well, I love stories about the Cosa Nostra and the mafia, and like many Americans, I love the idea of a closely knit society that respects a set of rules and punishes people who don't respect them and don't honor them, and rewards people who do. And when I ran into James Pierre, we were actually talking about a completely different kind of book. He's a financial broker in Connecticut, and his first book was on Warren Buffett and what made Warren Buffett succeed, and gave the most lucid explanation of Buffett's methods of investment that I've ever read anywhere or heard of. And we got to know each other with that first book. And then he told me what he was really working on, what he was secretly working on ever since he was a teenager. And it was about the Gambino family and Carlo Gambino in particular. So, needless to say, I was very interested. And as the book developed, I ran into the perfect producer for this, Jules Nasso, who knew the Gambino family and was raised with them, near them in Brooklyn. And so, long story short, we just followed our noses and let James get his dream coming true, which was to write the true story of this amazing, the only one of the mafia dons who died in bed, and because he didn't really like violence, even though he had to do it once in a while, he liked negotiation and give and take of business, and he thought everybody could make a better life if they focused on business rather than on power violence. And it's a great story, and James did a great job of writing it, and now Jules is doing a great job of producing it, and hope to see it come out in the next year.
For you, because you have so much experience, where do you see this industry going? Because a film like this would never have taken the path that it's taken for distribution P&A comparatively to some of the other movies and TV shows that you've produced over the years.
You mean because of downstreaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the future. Obviously, it's been the future for at least the last 5 or 6 years, and obviously, COVID was a booster to it because the theaters suddenly became more or less inaccessible, which was a massive blow to the biggest studios. They depended on the theaters to make their films visible and to get them seen by the most avid fans, the ones who go to the theater and are willing to pay the ticket prices and sit there and experience it in 4 dimensions. And with COVID, we had to capitalize on the fact that we all have huge screens in our living rooms compared to what we used to have, and those screens gave us about as close to a theatrical experience as you could get without going to the theater. So that really pushed forward the downstreaming business to the point where some of the downstreaming companies like Netflix and Apple and so on are virtually studios now and are in some cases acquiring studios and changing the way of business that the big studios had radically. I mean, the day and date release, meaning that you released it in the theater and on the home screen at the same time, was partly caused by the conditions around COVID. And now that COVID is lifting, people are going back to the theaters, and but you can see that the fare in the theaters is changing, and it's not what it used to be. And people are pushing it because they want it to come back, and I think it will come back. I think people will go see movies in any venues they can find for them with any vehicles of delivery that are available. But what makes it, the common denominator is the stories themselves. People are just insatiable for stories, and every possible vehicle from the 100 channels on your television receiver to the theater itself, to the downstreaming, all of that, they have to be filled. and they have to be filled all the time because they're all competing with each other for viewers. So it's an exciting new world.